What's going on, everyone? Welcome to this month's Playlog for April. Got through a few games. I didn't have too much time, but I got through at least more than last month, I think. But not too bad. It was a decent month. Also got to watch the Super Mario movie. Man, that was a good time. That was actually my son's first movie, like theatrical movie, like going to the theaters. He's 3.5 right now, so I can't for the life of me keep him still. So for the fact that he actually was there and he was super into it, like he was glued to that seat, like he was at the edge of his seat sometimes, man. It was I couldn't be happier, man. I can't tell you how hard it is to honestly find like a safe sort of family movie nowadays, man. I know that might sound weird to a lot of you guys, but for parents, I think you know what I'm talking about, man. It was good. It was just I couldn't be happier, man. It was a great time, a great movie. If you have kids and if you're 3-4 years old and you're thinking maybe you might be nervous, don't be. By all means, man. There was a bunch of other children. The movie's built and designed very well for kids, man. I know it's not a movie review. There's plenty of reviews. I suck at reviews as it is, but just throwing my 2 cents in, man. It was a great time, great movie. Every character was done right. There was no nonsense. It was just pure Mario. That's the best way I can put it, man. But yeah. Aside from all that, I got through basically 4 games, question mark. One game I didn't get through, which I'll get to. But first game, so at the time of this recording, I'm recording this earlier. By the time you guys see this, I'll be out of this place. So I'll be finished with this game by the time, you guys will see it. But I'm currently at chapter 4 of Octopath Traveler. It's funny how I've now been able to, what was the God of War, what's that other game called? Plague's Tale, and now Octopath Traveler. When the second game came out, it's the life of a video game collector. You always end up playing the game before that, by the time the second game comes out. But I'm looking forward to the second one. This was actually a great game. It was as advertised. It's clearly like a homage to the 90s and early 2000s sort of pixel RPGs, the JRPGs and stuff like that, and it's visually absolutely stunning. One of the biggest pros for sure is just visually how stunning it is. So chapter 1, you basically have 8 different characters. It's just you go through 8 different paths, essentially 8 different stories, which I wasn't the biggest fan of because I feel like the cohesion just wasn't quite there. But aside from that, I think it was actually, and I know it was actually a really good game. It was really fun. So when you get to chapter 2, when you basically hit that, the second boss on chapter 2, the power spike, the difficulty spike is so high. It jumps up really high. And truth be told, I loved it. I really loved it. I genuinely feel like main bosses should be tough. Or what's the point, honestly? Maybe I could argue it was a bit too tough, but all the time you spend grinding and trying to, get your character stronger, whether you're trying to loot for, better loot, better equipment, it's totally worth it. You feel like it was worth your time. You feel accomplished for beating each boss. So as of right now, I'm on chapter 4. Except for one character, is Ophelia. I'm chapter 3 on her. The boss is a little bit give me a hard time. It's there's basically 2 bosses and it's a whole thing. But once I should be able to beat this game within the next week. So, but Octopath Traveler, definitely recommend it. So, definitely pros, great gameplay, visually stunning. It's definitely an homage to the old JRPGs. And if I had to say cons, story's weak. Like, it's really weak. I pretty much, I think the only 3 characters, I guess 4 characters was the, forgetting their name, the Merchant, Ophelia, what was the other one? The Thief, and Primos. It's probably the only stories that I kind of followed along. I think Primos, the dancer in this game, was probably the only one where I think the story was good. Everything else, generally, all the other characters, I just skipped it. I just skipped the scenes. I got bored of it, dude. The story is really weak. So hopefully Octopath Traveler 2, they step up the story a bit. Personally, I would have liked it if after chapter 1, they came together. Because they obviously come together, but it's basically 8 side stories. Even though it's the main story. You gotta play it to understand. I would have liked it kind of like Wild Arms, where they all come together for one direct motive. But I mean, it's still unique in its own way, so they're trying to be different, and it is. So, you know, alas, I still like it, so it's a great game. Definitely give Octopath Traveler a try. So, the second game I beat through, and I took literal time off to play this, was Resident Evil 4. Man, I bought this day one, super excited to play this. We were up the first 2 nights, and then we stayed up the next weekend all night and finished the game, dude. It was absolutely a phenomenal game. Now, for me, this is my first time experiencing Resident Evil 4. I know that sounds weird because it's been out on almost every platform now, but for a lot of people, this is probably revisiting, you know. So I made a, looking back and seeing a lot of different gameplay and stuff like that, I've noticed I missed a lot of things. Like, especially during Ashley, there's a certain area where you play only as her, where you're supposed to unlock something to get a weapon. I didn't even know. So looking back, I'm like, well, would have been nice to probably look at a guide. But going in blind and just for the first time, like with visuals just being basically at the top of what Capcom provides, it's a phenomenal experience. I like Leon's more mature point of view rather than, you know, he was definitely the rookie. And then it's cool seeing what was like, you know, his RPD knife from Resident Evil 2 follow up, and just the overall, you know, just the old Leon and seeing the new Leon. I loved it a lot. So I don't really have any cons, honestly. The whole game was great. There wasn't like a bore for me, honestly. I think maybe people who played the original can probably nitpick a couple of things, but I thought the challenge was good. I guess the only 2 cons, I guess if there was a con, I tried to start off with the very easy mode. I had to actually reset the game and go standard, at least standard, because easy's far too easy. Like, far too easy. So I did standard. Standard felt just about right. It didn't feel too hard. It didn't feel too easy. It just felt good. And the last one is Ada. Is it the same voice actress for the first game? Because I don't know. She sounded like lethargic almost. Like she didn't want to be there. I don't know. Like Ashley, for example. Like she go, Leon. You know, like she really was, you know, enthusiastic. I was really into it. Like I thought everyone did great voice acting except for her. It took me out of the game a few times. But other than that, I think the game's great though. I think visually the game's great. Gameplay wise, story wise, you know, the ending. I guess everyone knows the ending and stuff like that. But that's first time for me seeing the ending, so we were all hyped about it. So definitely give this a try. So it was a great time. So yeah, Resident Evil 4. The third game was AI Dissomnia Files. One thing I mentioned, and I'll just, I guess, keep mentioning it. I like to watch Let's Plays. It's a great way to, you know, tackle your backlog. And when I get a free time, I like to watch, you know, certain games. Lately, it's been visual novels, especially since, you know, you're watching it, playing it's kind of the same. I don't know. One could argue that it's probably not, but I just like watching Nico Bees. You know, shout out to him as usual. Not that he needs it, but he has the best Let's Plays, especially for visual novels. So I've been watching through AI Dissomnia Files. I don't have the first game. I do plan on getting it. I have the second game, so I wanted to watch the first one, and I want to give the second game a try. I loved it. It was great. It was a great game. It's very different than other visual novels. Bunch of different routes that happen. It did get a little bit repetitive on sort of you have to backtrack and do it again, but you know, like I said, he's such a great Let's Player. He doesn't really make you feel fatigued in that. But you know, I did like it. It's a lot of little twists and turns and stuff like that. The animation, it's somewhere in between great and just odd at the same time. But you know, I liked it. I liked it enough that I bought the figure. I bought Aiba's figure and stuff like that. So definitely looking forward to the second game. I'm just debating on whether I'm going to play it versus just watch his Let's Play, because I really did like his Let's Play and stuff like that. So yeah, there was that one. Alright, the fourth game that I tried out, and I went ahead and tried it out, was Last of Us Part 2. So I left this one as the last one because I'm going to talk about spoilers. So fair warning, if you never play this game or you don't want to know about spoilers, you know, shut off the video and all that good stuff. So I just want to give you all a fair warning. I'm just going to talk about some, you know, major spoilers and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. What was the thought process behind why they chose to do what they did when it came to Last of Us Part 2. I never been like, I guess maybe online games, maybe. But like I've never really been like physically pissed off at a game the way I've been pissed off at this. It felt confusing, the direction they took. So it is woke as shit. It takes a very, you see it as the game goes. So it's weird. You boot the game in and it's like instantly Last of Us. You feel like you're just right back from where it ended. Well, it kind of is too before the initial time jump. And then they go this whole route with how Ellie is, and she becomes, she's gay and all that stuff. And you could see it. It's not like she's gay and then she's gay. Like it's like she's gay and she's like everyone's, a bigot. Every old white man's just a piece of shit. It's such a stereotypical, just like, it was a weird vibe is all I'm saying though. It was unnecessary in my opinion. However, it wasn't even that big of a deal. Like if she's gay, so be it. Cool, it didn't really affect the game because, for me at least, the game was never really Ellie. Ellie was just a part of the game, dynamic-wise. The game was always Joel's game, in my opinion. It was always Joel's perspective, his take, and his decision-making that sort of makes the game. With around all that, honestly, the game's a bit generic. It's just a generic zombie game. Maybe people will argue differently, but if it's purely gameplay, it is a bit generic. Like, it really is. So, like I said, I didn't mind it. I was still with it. It was a weird seeing that, but at the same time, I was like, all right, cool, whatever. That's the decision they made. It was very clear why they did that, though. They just wanted to go this certain way, and then they introduced a new character called Abby. And I don't know. It's so purposeful why they designed her the way they did. It looked like a woman and like a character from Outlast fused together. I don't know why they decided to make somebody so grotesque and just I don't know. I'm just gonna start going all over the place. My point is that character, you play as that character, and she ends up getting saved by Joel. And in turn, she literally brutally murders Joel in the most random and unexpected and the most just like, it wasn't, killing off Joel wouldn't have been an issue. It's just the way they go about it, and we're just expected to be cool with it. It just rubbed me off the wrong way. The whole game just had a vibe that was just weird. It was off. It just wasn't Last of Us for me. And the problem is now that Joel's dead, I played basically a little bit more up until that point. And then they basically show his grave, and I was like, man, just fuck this, dude. This is weird. Without Joel, the game's hollow. There's nothing really left. If you want it to be Ellie's game, which is I think what they were trying to do, which is fine, you can go, the gay route, do whatever you want to do, but there needed to be like a passing of the torch from Joel to Ellie. Or there needed to be a sacrifice. I'm not no writer or anything like that, so obviously I just like playing these games, but truth be told, I fell in love with Joel in part 1, and it just felt like a huge middle finger to my face for playing part 1. It just felt like, I don't care, So, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. Clearly, they didn't care about the fans, or they didn't care about people who like Joel. They wanted that shock value. And well, they got the shock value, because I didn't play the game. I didn't like the game after that, because after that, I'm telling you, it just was a zombie game. It's just, there's plenty of games that have great gameplay that's zombie games, So for me, I'm good. If they wanted to go that direction with Ellie being the way she was and everything, I thought that would have been just fine. You know what I'm saying? Just make a good story the way the first one is. So I did start looking up some reviews, and apparently I guess you play as Abby after that. The fuck? Why would I want to play as Abby? And at the end, you're supposed to sympathize for her. I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to, but I didn't feel it. In that moment, I was just like, this game's kind of stupid. And then I saw it, right? At first, as I was playing it, I was like, oh, this is the direction they're going. They're going this very leftist or, you know, extremely progressive way, identity politics shoved in your face. And I was like, all right, that's fine. It's just another Hollywood woke style kind of game. Maybe it's just made into the games, right? I was okay with it, and I was like, whatever, you know. But once Joel was gone, it's just, like I said, it was too hollow. And I don't care for Ellie as much, you know, or at least she didn't do enough to that point. Then maybe she needed to do enough to that point to grab me, where I was like, okay, this is Ellie's game, I need to know about Ellie. And just truth be told, if that was just because she's gay, that's not enough for me to just be like, I love this character, you know. It's just, to me, that's just her sexual preference. That's not a great story just because she's gay. I think the story just assumed that we're all supposed to love it. And truth be told, I didn't. So it was just off. It was weird. It was just random. So I don't know. It makes sense why they went back to part 1. You know, at first I was thinking about that when they made part 1. Why did they go back to remake part 1 when they should be making part 3? But the controversy makes sense now, right? Reading reviews, it's just everyone's just, you know, they're killing this game in terms of reviews at least. So I don't know how they did financially. I'm assuming they sold a shit ton, but it's weird. It was a weird take. I didn't like it. I didn't prefer it, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I overthinking it? I think the whole direction they were going, it was okay. You know, with Ellie, it was fine. But do you guys think what they did with Joel was fine? That was kind of weird and fucked up and random. You know, maybe have him sacrifice his life for Ellie or something crazy happens so that you know, so you have the feeling that you want Ellie to get revenge. I didn't even want Ellie to get revenge. I just felt the whole story was done. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I think part 1 is where the game ends for me. I'm good on part 2. If part 3 ever comes out, not interested. You know, the only thing I think I'm really interested in Naughty Dog is I haven't played the Uncharted series, so I'll probably go back and play that. So yeah, this might have been a hot take for a lot of people, but this is my channel. I can just talk about whatever I want to talk about. It's just, you know, overall, it's just an opinion. So yeah, that was the games I played this month. So I'm looking forward to playing. Got a couple of games that I'm playing. A little bit of longer games that I need to finish, but I'll get to it when I get to it. Yeah, but thanks for watching, y'all. Please subscribe, leave a like, and yeah, comment. You know, I love to talk to you guys, man. You guys have been, I super appreciate when you guys comment, dude. It's fun talking to y'all. Thank you, guys.